Welcome back, everybody, to the Go Podcast. I'm super excited for everyone to join us today. Today, I have a great privilege to be joined by someone super special to me. My younger brother. Um, he is a current student right now at Criswell College. He's working towards his politics, philosophy, and economics degree. He is the current youth pastor at Authentic Life Fellowship, where we both go to church. He is a YouTuber, and he is also a twin brother. And he is, most importantly, a Christ follower. So, with that being said, I'd like to introduce Jared Rice.
Yo, what's up? Happy to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here too. How are you feeling? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty tired, but no, man, I'm super excited about what this will lead to.
Me too, me too. Well, getting started, I just want to kind of ask the same question that I've asked some people before, but when it comes to your favorite Bible verse or maybe a Bible verse that you kind of pull to, uh, what what would that look like for you?
Yeah, I think my best Bible verse in the entire Bible. It used to be Psalms. It used to be in Psalms. It was um with the Lord at your right hand, you will not be shaken. Um, but I think recently I've been drawn to Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount. I forgot it actually. I think it's I'm actually pulling it up right now. Um I know it's Matthew 5, 43 through 28. No, that's not it. Here it is. Okay. It's love your neighbor as no. Oh my goodness. It's just slipping my mind. What the heck? Love God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. I don't know why that took so long for me to figure it out. I literally did an entire sermon on this. But no, I'm really drawn to that one because I feel like the reason it is my favorite Bible verse is because um, I think I I think I get really caught up in the struggle of what it actually means to be a Christian. I think it's something I really wrestle with, and something as simple as I feel like Jesus is telling me this, love God. So what do I have to do? I have to just love God and then love my neighbor as myself. And it's not like okay, like let me just check the box, do these two things, and then I'm good to go. But it's like this. It's a strive. I fell a lot, but it's a desire, or it's a desire to strive towards doing that, is towards loving God and towards loving my neighbor. So yeah, I'm really drawn to that a lot because I also think it sums up Jesus really well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Ah, um, we went through we went through the Sermon on the Mount in Josh's class, and yeah, you can pull a lot of good things from um, that message. And but that's awesome. I'm glad you found one. I'm glad you have a few of them, really. But so let's kind of jump into kind of your a little bit of your background, maybe kind of whenever how you grew up, where you grew up, when you were saved, and then kind of the whenever that kind of sunk in.
hmm Well, I grew up with this really annoying older brother. No. I think for the first 12 years of my life, I grew up what I thought to be a very um a very good life. Um I think that we did a lot of stuff. We went on vacation. We went to Missouri like once, twice a year. I think we went to Scarborough Fair
Yeah, a few times.
a few times. Galveston. We did a lot of good stuff, and I think I always hmm. I think that I think I grew up. I think we had a good life growing up. You and I would play football with just ourselves or our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Explore the neighborhood. Um, it was a good childhood growing up. And what was the other question, sir?
Just
Other
kind of
questions?
yeah, just whenever after you, whenever you were growing up, when did you decide that you wanted to get saved, that you
Mm,
wanted to become a Christian?
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Okay. I remember, our senior pastor can tell you the exact day, what he was doing. I can't do all that. I remember a vague conversation I was having with my mom and my dad. It's still the details are a little finicky, but I remember thinking like, "Hey, I want to be saved. I want to accept Jesus into my heart." But I couldn't really tell you why. Like the reason, definitely. I think looking back, the reason was like, "Oh well, I keep hearing that like if I get saved or if I die, then I'm going to be not with my family. I want to be with my family because my family's safe." So I think that was a big motivation. JC, my twin sister. I mean, she was doing her stuff, and Jordan, my older brother. I mean, I just didn't want to be separated from my family, so I was like, I definitely need to get saved. So, I talked to my parents about it. They walked me through what that actually means, and it's like where it's not just separation, but there needs to be a relationship between you and God. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. But they were like, this is, if you actually want this, though, if you actually want to get baptized, you want to accept Jesus into your heart and you want to have a public profession of faith, then you need to be the one to go to the senior pastor, go to Jimmy, on your own, and you need to be the one to talk to him through this. Because when it comes to Judgment Day, Day of the Lord, it's just going to be you and God. So you need to do this on your own. So I remember vaguely that conversation, and by vaguely, I just remember like how I felt, and my mom telling me, or our mom telling me this stuff. So that Wednesday night, I think somewhere, it could have been a few weeks down the road, could have been the next day, could have been later that day. Who knows? Could have been 2 years down the road. Who knows?
For all we know.
Yeah, yeah. So then I talked to Pastor Jimmy, and I told him, "Yo, this is how I feel. Um, I think I want to accept Jesus into my heart." And he was like, "Bet." And then who knows how long until then, until I got saved or until I got
Mhm.
baptized. Um, but no, looking back at it, however many years ago that was, I think it was a genuine profession. I didn't understand what it was I was professing to, but how I felt, I know that there had to be something real in that. Um, but what? So then I go on, I live my life. And then it's just one day, I think maybe 16, maybe 17. The years really do feel like
They go by so fast
they're just
sometimes.
kind of all combined
They
though.
blend
Yeah, they
together.
blend together.
Uh-huh.
I just remember being like, "Oh crap, like am I actually living like a Christian, still going to church twice a week, still heavily involved in church things. I'm not just going, but I'm involved in church things." And I'm like, am I actually living a Christ-like life? Um, and I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't like some massive epiphany or revelation. It was just like, it's like, no, Jared, you're probably not living a life that's really reflective of Christ. So then it was just like, okay, well, I should definitely get back on the wagon, I guess, or however that works. And um, I started to be intentional. That's really the only difference. Because I was going through several years of just doing things, but there wasn't any intentionality behind it. In one year after the other. Um, but one day it's just like, no, I need to be intentional with what I'm doing. So I started to pray more, go to church more, and that's not me saying that like to become a Christian is it's all on you. Um, but I started to do things that were Christ-like, and I felt better about it, which is almost like, wow,
Yeah.
it's a reason behind that.
Right, right. Now, did you notice kind of like a character change or maybe a shift in how you acted from that moment before you made that internal decision around 16, 17 to after? Can you notice any type of change in who you are from that moment to now?
Um, Yeah, I think so. Um, I'm trying to. I say yes almost definitively, but I am struggling to figure out specifics.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I definitely hope I see a change.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so. I definitely do. But like you said, the years blend together,
Yeah,
so it's
man,
hard
it's
to.
just like,
When you were 16, 17, I was what,
dude, I know, bro.
20? I don't know, trying to
It's
get
just
through
hard to
school.
like look back at a specific moment and be like, this is then. I feel like it'd be a lot easier if I could, because I could
Hmm.
just be like, nope, this is when I was a Christian, or this is when I wasn't a Christian, and this is when I am a Christian. Like, um, there's something not envious or jealousy, but like there's like this like, if you had a radical conversion, then you know. Like, it's radical. You
Right.
you then know, like, okay, I was once living like this, but like for a lot of us, a lot of the people that grow up in church, you already kind of start off ahead of the curve.
Hmm.
And then you kind of realize as you're growing up that you're not ahead of the curve, and you kind of have to like, you kind of like, it's kind of like walking up a mountain or like a long staircase.
Okay.
But like for the radical people, the radical conversions, they kind of get just like launched onto the staircase. They still have to take the steps,
Yeah.
but it's just like, no, they were down at the bottom of the mountain, and now they've been thrusted up.
Catapulted up
They've been
there.
catapulted up there to where a lot of us, a lot of the people that grow up in a church, it's like, okay, you're already kind of you're like at base camp on Mount Everest. You know,
Hmm.
you're trying to already start your trek, but it's like all you know is the base camp of Mount Everest. You don't know what it's like to be in the slums of not Nairobi,
Nepal.
Nepal.
Yeah.
But what's the city in Nepal?
Oh,
Kyoto,
Kirkman or Kirkman. Oh my goodness, Kathmandu or
Kathmandu, or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably closer to
it's
Kathmandu.
like and then that's just kind of how I view it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a really good analogy. I never really thought of it that way, but and I think there's a lot of people who have been Christians for a long period of time who kind of maybe feel that way. It's like I don't have this light switch moment where my light was dark and then all of a sudden it's light, whereas it's kind of a gradual step. And that was kind of whenever we went to on our last mission trip together
Hmm.
to Africa. Whenever we were talking about who was going to lead a testimony to these 1,500 these
Oh
1,500
boy.
schoolgirls,
Yeah.
and it's like how do I tell a testimony
Yeah.
about me whenever it's like I've been a Christian my entire life? So, but there was someone who did talk who
Hmm. Who had a
had the same process that we did, and she actually said it a really good way,
yeah, much better than I think.
much better than
Yeah.
I could have for sure. So here's an important question I really want to know:
Hmm.
who baptized you? Was it Jimmy or was it Dad?
It was neither.
Neither.
Neither. It was the great Jeff Phillips, who was on
Oh,
episode 2, if I believe. 3.
yeah.
Two,
Okay.
3, really?
Yeah. Three. Well,
Who was 1? Okay, well,
I don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
forget. I
yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
Maybe two or three.
It was early on in this production, this original Rice production,
Uh huh.
when Jordan interviewed, podcasted with Jeff.
Hmm.
Jeff was the one who baptized me.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. I actually was gonna be Jimmy, and then I think Jeff was just like, "Yo, you want to get baptized?" And I was like, "Or you want to get baptized by me?" I'm like, "Yeah, bet, cool, let's do it."
Okay, so that brings me to another question though.
Okay.
Were we still in the old building? Were you baptized in the old church or were you baptized in the pool?
I was baptized in Jeff's pool.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That seems like that's been the staple spot for many people for the last what 10, 12 years.
It's a great spot to get
It is a good
baptized.
spot. And they don't usually use the hot tub, but I guess they
No,
could if it
you
was
could use the hot tub,
wanted
yeah,
to get baptized in the winter.
in the winter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, that's great. Moving forward though, after so about 17 you made the decision really internally. And then
I think.
you
Who
think
knows? Could have been
as a
15.
for the sake of this
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
podcast, we're
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah.
stick around 16 to 17. So moving forward from that point, um before we get into your call of ministry, what were you doing like with your life, job, school? What were you doing before you kind of felt that calling to ministry?
Yeah. I was working with the homie McLean. I was. doing real estate investing for about 2 years, roughly 2 years. And I was working under a great guy, McLean. I mean, I was like his right hand man. Him and I would go all over Greenville trying to find properties, call people for hours on end, trying to buy properties and sell them, fix or flip them, wholesale them, whatever we needed to do. And it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot from McLean. I still keep up with him today, to this day. Yeah, so I was doing that, and I don't know. It was, I mean, it was gradual. Just like a loss of interest into the job, which is it was a gradual losing of interest in it. But it's like, okay, why am I losing interest? What's the deeper meaning?
Hmm.
What's the actual root of it? And the root of it was just like I didn't have any purpose there. Like I was losing. I just felt like I didn't have any purpose. Um, and I think it was just too much. Like it was so overwhelming, that I just needed to step away from it. Um, so that was around, like, I think I was feeling this stuff in through like maybe March to April, and I think it got to closer like around June, and I had lunch with Josh, also on this podcast. It's a small world,
It is a
guys.
small world.
And I was just telling him about all of these things that I was feeling, and he kind of put the idea he kind of not put the idea in my head, but kind of revealed something that I was internally thinking about, with like, one, stepping away, and two, like, how have you thought about like coming to work at the church? So it was just a little nugget, and it wasn't anything Josh was pushing on to me in a vulnerable state, but it was just something. But I was like, no, I think I really need to step away, and I left that dinner or lunch with like, I need to step away from this, from what I'm doing. But Josh was like, well, let's not make anything harsh. Let's not make any rash decisions. He's like, you're going to church camp, and we're gonna go to Dominican. So think about it. Just
Hmm.
think about it. So fast forward a month, the end of July, I get back from Dominican after being a counselor at church camp, and then spending what, week and a half in Dominica.
I think
Week
it was like 10 days,
10 days,
so maybe a
yeah,
week and a half.
week and a half, yeah, yeah. And I was like, yeah, my time at my time working with McLean at Lone Star Equity has come to an end, and I acknowledge that. So I talked to him about it, and I was like, hey, I need to step away. I need to kind of figure out what it is I'm feeling, really. And McLean was super supportive. And that was that. That was the end of that. And um yeah, and I kind of felt this calling, this feeling rather, like I need to be doing something that is like that like drives this passion, drives a purpose. Like there needs to be something behind what I'm doing. It can't just be like I'm working and then that's it. I need to be doing something to where I'm working and I find fulfillment in what I'm working in what I'm working towards. And the church just kept like coming back. So then even those details get a little fuzzy. But eventually, I started off as an unpaid intern at the church. I was running the social media. Did you have questions that were leading somewhere? Do you want me to do it?
Well, this is fine. I
Okay.
mean, you can
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to jump in, you can jump right into it.
So yeah, and then I felt peace with taking an unpaid internship with at a job to where I was previously fully commission based. So it was with all of the like the odds stacked against me, I guess I kind of felt peace with the decision. I prayed about it constantly, as talking to people around me, talking to the community around me, and not long after, so that was in like August, I think. Um, by December, I graduate with my associates, business degree. I'd never planned on using the business degree, and that's also a whole other side of things too. Is to where this like when I was talking about this overwhelming feeling of like not having purpose by my life is that like the degree I was getting was an associate's in business. Then right after that, I was going to jump to commerce and get a 4-year degree there, or get 2 remaining years left, get
Hmm.
my bachelor's in business, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like I don't want that. So that also added to the overwhelming part I was talking about earlier. Um, but yeah, jump to December. I graduate with my associates, and that night I crashed my car. Oh,
I remember that.
that was
That was that was a crazy. It wasn't even a crazy night. It was just hey, and then boom. It was like, well, okay.
yeah. Yeah, crashed my car. So with no money, with no money coming in, and no money coming in the foreseeable future, I crashed my car, and everybody in the world is telling me it's totaled. I went to every single place in Greenville, which is where we're from. I think it was like 4 places,
Hmm.
and my quotes were uh, starting low and then going high: 5,000, 7,000, 10,000, and then 11,000. So I know I had 4 quotes that were around those range, and it was super scary and stressful, and I did not know what the heck I was going to do. And friend of a friend and friend of my dad's fixes it for 2 bands, 2K, uh, which is money I did have, so that was great. And my car running. I mean, fast forward now, my car's running great, man.
Yeah, everything seems to work.
Yeah, and that was such a blessing. And that was, I don't know. We think of everybody's drawn to such like the big moments of life, the dramatic parts of it. But like, I feel like that was one of the biggest moments to where I felt I'm taking on the role as God, like where God's like, I got you,
Hmm.
like it's going to be okay, because I did not. There, I mean, there's literally like there's genuinely nothing I could have done. Like, I just, oh my goodness. And also on top of that, I fixed it for 2 grand, or somebody fixed it for 2K, but I had another grand going out of it from the tow truck company.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I'm all in 3 grand, which I mean sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, especially when you're not making any money. But it's like I was looking at totaled. Everybody, all 4 people told me that. All 4 other people told me that it was totaled. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just like no, like God, like I got you,
Hmm.
and I think about that moment a lot.
Yeah.
And then and then if I'm a student at Criswell.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want me to transition
You
into
can.
that,
When did you start Criswell?
that January
Of 2023,
4.
4.
Yeah. So December 2023 is when I got my associates. January 2024 I is when I started Criswell.
It goes well. Okay. So in a quick way, since PJC business associate's degree versus Criswell College getting a PPE degree, what's the can you describe the difference between those two college experiences, or like is there anything really different other than just the fact of what you're studying?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. PJC was. I mean, it's a community college through and through. You've got people that are like. I remember one class I had this lady with like 3 kids, working full-time job, just trying to get home, get to class, get home, and get her degree. It was really all walks of life, and I think Criswell has that too. A lot of like they have that, and I can get into that later. But um, nobody's trying to really like communicate with one another. Like you know what this is. This is a
Mhm.
community college. You're just trying to get your degree, and you're
Get
just trying to bounce.
yeah, get in, get out.
Get in, get out. I mean, at least that was my attitude towards it,
Mhm.
and honestly, that was my attitude towards Criswell, at least for the first semester, or to some degree. Um, but that was the main difference. I mean, I don't know what community PJC had. If they do have a community, who knows? I don't
I
know.
don't really either.
I was just get in
Same,
and get out. Yeah,
same,
yeah.
same way for me. I just wanted to get in there, grab my associates, so I could go on to commerce, and then get a degree that I don't even use. But so you started at Criswell. How long into your Criswell college experience were you offered the main youth pastor role?
Yeah. So I started Criswell January, and what felt like 5 years only was 4 months of me getting the actual full time position, or not full time position, but the youth pastor position at Authentic Life. Because for those 4 months, I mean, I'm spending driving back and forth to here and to school, or from Greenville to Dallas twice a week. Um, I'm still spending all the regular amount on groceries that I would. I mean, I need to survive.
Right.
Although there were some weeks to where, man, I don't know how I got by. Honestly, that was insane. Um, I don't know really how it happened. I don't know how I don't know how I got through those. I mean, I'd have survived on like no food for some time. Um, but yeah, a total of July to January, or I'm sorry, July to April, June to April, June to April, I survived with no income. And on top of that, I crashed my car. And on top of that, I still have regular gas and grocery expenses. Um, yeah, and I just got through it.
Hmm.
A lot of prayer during those days, and I get a phone call, or actually, I don't remember how it happened. Yeah, get a phone call, and I go into church one day, and Jimmy's like, "Hey, you want to take a swing?" I think that's exactly what he said too. He's like, do you want to
Sounds like
bat?
him. It sounds like him.
You're up." And I'm like, "Shoot, what am I up for?" And he's like, "Chuck's gone." And I'm like, "Oh shoot." Or Chuck will be leaving.
Yeah.
So yeah, in April, became the youth pastor. It's almost coming up on a year now.
Oh, oh, that's crazy. I didn't realize how long it's been.
Yeah.
Was there any type of like reservations or nervousness or anything like, oh man, I'm not qualified for this going into that?
Well, I'm not qualified for this at all. The previous youth pastor, Chuck, had a MDiv, which is like the most one of the most like in-depth master's degrees available out there. Like
Hmm.
it's insane how much people how deep how dense an MDiv is.
Hmm.
There's so much to an MDiv. Like senior pastor, your senior pastor can have an MDiv and you're good. You
Hmm.
call it a day there. Um, super qualified.
Hmm.
Josh had his bachelor's undergrad and working on his master's. Well, when he was the youth pastor, he had his bachelor's.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. I have to go back and re-listen to my podcast, the episode with him, but
I'm
I think so
I'm
because he was still working on some school.
Yeah, he was still working on okay. He was finishing up his degree
We can go, yeah, that works.
or done with it.
Sorry, Josh.
Yeah. And then me, a first semester student at a Christian liberal arts school with a past experience in business
I'm frying chicken.
and frying chicken. I worked at Chicken Express for a year before real estate. And I still carry that with me to this day, to where I walk into church and like I'm doing my lessons and I'm just like, I'm still not qualified for this. Like how? What? Like pure qualifications based on a pure qualifications level. It's like, who is this kid?
Uh-huh.
Who is this guy? Um. So yeah, no, that was the main. That was and probably still is the main feeling I have towards my position, to where it's like one of the main negative feelings I have towards my position, to where it's like it's just imposter syndrome through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it firsthand how much of a influence that and a role model you have on to the youth kids at our church. So you may not think you're not qualified, and maybe on paper you're not, but I definitely think when it comes down to brass tacks, I think you pretty much are. But
Thank you.
welcome. So now since we kind of jumped around it, we kind of danced around it. Let's let's dive into what this podcast is named after. Let's get into your two mission trips that you went on. Where was the first one?
It was Dominican
Dominican.
Republic. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. How? So what was that like? It was your first mission trip. So what were you thinking leading up to it? And then you can just dive in, talk about anything you want to about that mission trip. We got some funny stories because we roomed together.
We did room together. Yeah. Dominica. How old was I? Was I 17 or 18? Jeez.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was 18.
Oh, I forget.
I'm 17. My birthday.
Yeah.
It falls at a weird time, so it's just kind of hard to figure out. Doesn't matter. I
Doesn't
was I
matter.
was a youngin. I was a youngin, and Dominica opportunity came up, and I was
2023. I think
2020.
we got back before your birthday. The day before.
Yeah, so I was 17.
Yeah, we got back before 2 days before y'all's birthdays. Y'all's birthday.
Yeah, so 17 years old. Was a youngin.
That is pretty younger than me when I went on my first one.
Um, and yeah, so we had the opportunity to go, and I went. I don't really know how the money worked out. Money just kind of came in from different people. Um, yeah, that's also really fuzzy, to where it's like, I think it was 2 grand or
I think
2,500.
it's 2,500.
2,500. I think all the money I ended up putting down was like 500 personal. Uh, all the other money was raised through faithful members of the church and family, friends, and family members.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag love you, JC. Um, no, wait, that was for Kenya.
Yes.
So take that back, JC. Uh,
No, no thank yous yet.
no thank yous yet. Yeah. So that was Dominica was awesome. It was super eye opening. The food, that's the first thing I go back to when people ask me how was Dominican. The food was downright delicious. Oh my goodness. When we first got there, the first meal that we had was KFC. And I know what y'all are thinking, like it's KFC. Like, nah, KFC fresh,
Oh
the
yeah.
fresh from the fryer, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, they had something more than just those 11 herbs and spices. They had something cooking.
It was good, and that was probably the second time in my entire life I've ever had KFC, and
Yeah.
it was in another country.
Did you have it in Nepal? I guess.
No, no.
No?
The first time was on a road trip with the Smiths, and
Oh.
we stopped at it was like part of a gas station. And I
Mm.
think that was the first time I ever had
Okay.
KFC. Second time was in the Dominican.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, the food was really good. The food was really good, and we got for me, I say pleasure. We got the opportunity to lead the games
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
for VBS.
Yeah, yeah.
How'd you enjoy that? How was that? What was that like?
The game aspect was super fun. It's super fun playing with kids. Kids are great to play with, to have fun with,
Hmm.
and like play games with. Um,
Yeah, they get, especially if you get a competitive one.
yeah, you get a
Then
competitive game. They're a lot.
that's yeah.
It really just like it's so simple. I don't know. I don't have a kid yet, but yeah. It's super hard though. Obviously,
Well,
the communication part of everything was so so much,
Mm-hmm.
and the lack thereof, really. I mean, we only know English. Jordan, I don't know why he doesn't know. He took 2 years of Spanish. He should know Spanish.
I should,
I
right?
took ASL, and I still got some good stuff with me in sign language. Um, but they only spoke Spanish, and it was challenging to communicate with them.
It was, and I think everybody who went on that trip can praise and give thanks to Josh a lot
Yeah,
because Josh did not take 2 years of Spanish, but he worked at Chick-fil-A and he was around a lot of people who spoke Spanish, so it was really good having him there. Whenever he was around, you kind of got some more conversation done, but in the same time, at the same moment as it was challenging, it was kind of funny because you're using basic words that we know in Spanish and they know in English, and then kind of using hand gestures
yeah,
and try to communicate what you want to get across.
yeah. And it was also cool to see like what pop culture was kind of global. So
Mm-hmm.
like Spider-Man, I remember there was a whole thing about
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man, and then
Mm-hmm.
like MJ, Michael Jordan,
Okay.
and like stuff like that. So that was interesting to see the impact of American pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Dominican's only like what 4 hours away or 3 hours away, it's
Yeah.
not far from
It's not that
Florida.
not that far. It was a pretty quick flight. Well, if you can remember any, do you have a favorite game that we played in the Dominican?
Um,
I know you had trouble with the rojo red and
well,
green light.
dude, Red Green Light was super fun. That's probably my favorite
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah, but I could not get. I suck at Spanish. I can barely speak English as it is. I have terrible
Mm-hmm.
pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
So that was oh boy, that was super fun though.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was. I think that was that was the most game interaction type
Yeah.
activity that I've done on a mission trip.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. But um, how was what were your thoughts on the kind of the worship services that we had? I know we had the first night and maybe another one.
Um this goes to both Dominica and Kenya. It was super cool to see them worship in the same songs and the Creole church too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, the
that
Creole.
was
That was pretty
that was
cool.
another church that we went to in Dominica. It was super cool to see how we really all just like they're singing the same song, and it's the same song you would sing on a Sunday night or Sunday morning at your church, but they're singing in a different language and they worship differently.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like unity. There's just unity in it, and it
Mm-hmm.
was super cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I I agree. I always think not that in America we don't, you know, love God any less, but it is always cool seeing other people in other countries how they worship because it almost seems like the energy in the room is like triple than
Hmm.
what you see in the normal day to day church service over here in the States.
Yeah, everybody in America is so darn stoic.
Yeah,
They like preserve, not show any emotions or
and
anything.
you know, kind of keep everything behind.
Pentecostals do it right, honestly.
They get down and groovy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if you're being your first mission trip, how would you rate it? What would it? Would you
I
go
would give
there
it a
again?
7.5 out of 10. No, I'm
7.5 out
just
of 10.
kidding.
Would you go there again or?
Yeah. If I had the opportunity to, I would love to go there again.
Hmm. And obviously, your first experience didn't, you know, throw you away because you ended up a year later. We ended up going to Africa.
Yeah, the big old Africa.
How was that? What do you want to? Let's jump into that while we're at it.
Yeah, yeah.
That would have been 2024, right?
Yeah. So I was 18 or 19. Who knows? I was 18. No,
18. Yeah.
who knows?
I don't know.
This is really bad. I should know my own
I mean,
age.
for me, it's easy. I can just look at the dates and I know exactly what my
Yeah,
age is.
yeah.
But before, okay, right before, though, I do want to talk about this. So
Okay.
pause on jumping to Africa. It's a good spot to pause. Before you went on any international trips, what was your mindset on going on any international trips growing up? Maybe about a year
Oh
before you
yeah.
decided to go to Dominican.
So Jordan is alluding to the fact that uh, prior to Dominican, about a year prior, I had a very open position on the fact that there's no need to explore outside of America. That America has enough beauty in and of itself, and like, why do you need to go places? Fast forward to now. I've been to two foreign countries, and I'm trying to go on a third one, and I'm trying to travel as much as I possibly can, both internationally and nationally. Um, but yeah, it was the position. Yeah.
I always think that's funny because yeah, those of y'all who don't really know Jared that much, it was always a because I was able to go to Germany and Switzerland in my senior year of high school, and it was always a not a hot topic of debate, but it was always something that we could poke fun with each other. As I would like, why did you not want to go out of the United States? It's so cool. There's a whole bunch of cool places out there, and you would always be like, why? I could just go to Zion, or I could go to the Grand Canyon. There's some great places. There's no need to leave the states. But
I've been to both, by the
yeah, yeah, you
way.
have little hint, little drop.
Yeah, but now I'm desperately trying to go to Germany and Switzerland.
Right.
So
But I just think it's funny.
no, yeah,
It's crazy. It's cool how our viewpoints change as we get older and stuff like that. But going back to Africa, this was a big trip. I mean, it took what maybe 4 hours total travel time to get to the Dominican,
yeah,
whereas Africa, like it was a full 24 hours of traveling, at least, just to get to where we're going.
yeah.
Not to say like it was going to be longer. The first time we booked flights, it was going to be
Hmm.
a longer flight. So looking at the Africa trip, how are you feeling leading up to it? We're about to be on a flight for 14, I think 14 hours straight. Um,
Yeah, 14 hours straight, and then
how are you feeling about that in particular, or just?
man, dude, that was lightweight. What? Come on. I don't know what the whole big deal is about people like travel. I don't. I mean, everyone's got different circumstances,
Uh-huh.
but you're telling me I got 14 hours to where I can just like watch movies and sleep.
Yeah.
It's just like the food, the airplane food's
Oh, it
terrible.
is.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
shit.
terrible. I hate airplane
I
food.
just stick with crackers and the
Yeah,
sodas they give me.
yeah. But no, I really enjoy traveling, like road trips. You look outside. Well, it was nighttime, so I didn't get to see that,
Yeah.
and we were in the middle.
And we land. No, that was never mind. That was my trip to.
But I thought it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't really feel any type of way. I was excited, or I was excited, not just from the pure sense of like I'm experiencing something I've never experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, so like I didn't have any excitement towards that. Like, oh, I can't wait till I start building houses, or I can't wait till we meet the people. Like, I didn't have any expectation,
Right.
or because I hadn't experienced. I may be an empiricist, but it was super fun,
Mm-hmm.
super fun time. I watched Fight Club,
I do remember that.
great movie.
I did not watch it.
You did not?
Don't remember what I watched.
No. Uh,
Don't even watch anything.
the lady next to me had a medical emergency. Was that on the
That was
way
on the
up?
way back.
Okay,
That
the
was on
way
the way
back.
back. We could
Okay.
we could jump to that, or you
Yeah,
we
I
could.
mean, just the lady next to me had a medical emergency. I don't know. We just still don't really know what was going on.
Yeah, no, she left the seat, and it felt like the entire flight she was just gone.
Yeah, she was gone. And then we get a ding or somebody. We have a
So a medical professional or a
yeah,
doctor
yeah,
on
yeah,
board.
yeah, yeah. She gave me her food, which any other day would have been amazing, but it's airplane food and it sucked,
Uh-huh.
so I didn't eat it. But no, I was able to have two rows or
Yeah,
a seat in
you
my
got to
seat.
lay
I
down.
got to lay down, stretch out. I watched some good movies. I don't know, it was a blast.
Yeah.
Sign me up next time.
Oh, right, right. Flying has always been pretty fun for me.
Yeah,
The whole um
it's an
the
experience. It really
experience, like the
is.
whole.
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk to Jeff, who did it for his career, he
Hmm.
probably won't have the same response. But for someone like me or someone like you, especially or specifically for me, it's always fun. Getting to the airport, going through security, going through like just you. It's a terminal of people from all over the world.
Yeah,
If you're a people watcher, it's a
yeah.
place to go.
You get a book, dude.
Uh huh.
Like, especially when you get on that flight, you get a book. Knock it out, bro.
Mm-hmm. So in Africa, harder in different circumstances than the Dominican.
Yeah, definitely physically more. demanding
Mm-hmm.
than Dominican could ever have been. But we travel a full day's travel of flying, and we have people that are speaking English that be speaking perfectly fine English.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not perfect, but fine, good, passable quality English.
Yeah.
And that was super, super cool to go that far. And you go to your maps phone, or you go to your maps on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you just zoom out, and you're like on the
Other
opposite, just
other
on the
side of the
opposite
world.
side of everything,
Yeah.
everything that you've ever known. And that's like, it's not real. It really is not real. Okay, it just because like if you think about it, you go to an airport. Okay, you get into this tube, and it transports you somewhere. And where it transports you is all the way on the other side of the world. And yeah, it's like, yeah, you're in a you're aware you're in a different country and culture because of the things around you, but it's like you could really be anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Really good. Like,
It's so it's
okay.
I know people can be like, yeah, Jared, that's how travel works. You get on a plane, you go
You go
somewhere,
somewhere,
but it's like it's just weird.
but yeah. Yeah. It really is. It's the concept of it is crazy. Um, so building a house.
Mm.
What was that like?
Yeah, I suck at building mud huts.
I think
Um,
we all do.
yeah.
We slowed them down drastically.
Yes, we did. And what was super funny is that, like, well, not super funny. It's like when in the June in Kenya by the chin. Oh my goodness, in the Kenya trip, I was pretty well toned. I was like 160, which isn't a lot of weight, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm a pretty lean guy. I look pretty good. At then, I
Yeah.
was decent. And then you've got these people who are like way significantly less than me,
Mm-hmm.
who are native to Kenya, and this is what they do, and they're stronger than me, and they're like doing more than me, like,
Uh-huh.
and then not just like for a moment, but like through the marathon of building the house, and it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I
I
suck.
know. I know. I had to. They let me cut what, probably a inch and a half thick piece of wood with the handsaw.
Yeah.
Whew! I about died doing that, and then they do the next one, and it's like he did it. I mean, significantly less time than I did.
I kept telling myself it's like, oh, they got a technique
Uh
to it,
huh.
but it's like, no, they're just
No, they're
it's
just
just.
pure. I don't know, but yeah, that was.
I tried to hammer the nail and I couldn't get it. Oh my gosh.
I know. I think of that with you, and then with Dawn trying to do it
And
too.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
but well, do you want to kind of talk about a little bit of the kind of the people there, but the situations that a lot of the people are in Africa, in Kenya, that we met with, like
Is that just poverty? Is that
poverty,
oh yeah, yeah.
um,
Uh,
or just
yeah, they lived in rough conditions. Like, I mean, like when you're homeless in America, you have to worry about a lot of things. When you're living in like what a lot of these conditions of these people in Africa, you have to worry about pretty much all those things on top of like getting eaten by a lion or something, or like some animal coming
right,
and just destroying everything that you own.
right, or even healthcare. I mean, even
Yeah, yeah.
if you are homeless here in America, like you, I think you have a better chance at getting some sort of healthcare.
And just better, I mean, opportunity. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like the American dream, right? Like you
Right.
have the ability to go up,
Mm-hmm.
and then in Kenya, you look around, and it's just like, dude, these people are definitely not given that opportunity. I mean, there's the Nairobi slums to where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what was it, 2 million people or 1 million people? Was it that high of a number?
I think it's
To where super high, super dense population in such a
and
super high population in such a dense small area.
mm-hmm.
There's like AIDS and all type of diseases and murder and terrible things happening on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we drove around that or
On the outskirts
on
of
the
it, yeah.
outskirts of it.
Yeah.
But no, like the living conditions there are rough, and the kids, we would do these feeding programs, and some kids would just only eat a little bit and then take the rest home. And it's like, well, why are they taking the rest home? It's like so they can either last those meals longer or give it to their family because their family does not have anything to eat. And then you go to you go to some families and it's like you got the mom working everything she can and the husband sitting at home doing nothing. And
Mhm.
it's like the culture that they have there. It's just like there was that one lady. Uh, that story's a bit fuzzy. I won't go into that, but it's just crazy these conditions that these people are living under as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Mhm. It is crazy. It makes you. It gives me a better um,
Yeah, and we get upset.
outlook.
Yeah, and we get upset when gas goes up like 20, 30 cents. And it's
Right.
just like,
If our grocery store doesn't have our favorite bag of chips.
yeah, yeah,
Or
and these people are like literally stretching meals, stretching a bowl of rice to like try to last that to like 3 meals.
mhm. And then speaking on that, like that just gave me an idea or a thought. Speaking on that same topic, it's we go out to eat as Americans. We go out to eat a lot,
Yeah.
and especially if we go to a sit down restaurant, we expect almost our food. We don't expect it instantly. I don't. I hope there's no one out there who expects a sit down restaurant to have their meal instantly. But like we expect, we sit down, we get chips and salsa if you're going to a Mexican restaurant. And, we expect once we order our meal to be out in, 15 minutes top. 15 minutes top. And we, I'm saying all this to say is that speaking about those kids that we were helping with the feeding center, these kids, that could have been their only meal of that day. And they sat and waited until all 100 kids got sat down
Yeah.
with their food before they even took a bite.
Yeah, that was super crazy. How everyone's like, oh, kids are kids everywhere in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, like I mean, in Kenya they were different.
They, mm-hmm.
Like you give them that time or you give them the space you give them the space to allow them to be themselves, and they're going to be themselves. They're going to be kids, but man, they are super like they're locked, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not gonna eat even a bite of rice until all people have their serving and are sitting down and ready to eat. Then they'll pray. Then they'll eat. Like they're super structured. They're not gonna do anything that could potentially get them in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super. I mean, you go fast. You go to America and you got some troublemakers as well. I mean, you
Yeah.
go to anywhere in the world, you got troublemakers. And
Mm-hmm.
freaking Kenya, there was no troublemakers
It definitely didn't seem like it
at the kid age. At the
at the
kids
kid
age,
age.
yeah,
I mean, going to the Catholic school. I mean,
yeah.
15 was it 15 or 1100?
It was
Over a
more over a
thousand.
thousand.
Over a thousand.
Over 1,100 minimum.
Over
Minimum.
1100 of these Catholic girls. I mean, when it was quiet, you
Dude,
could hear a pin drop.
yeah, dude, they're all staring at the whoever's talking.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like if you do that to America, we all have gone to high school, hopefully. We have the assemblies, and
Hmm.
I know I'm not listening. I'm goofing off. I'm doing whatever. And I'm not listening to whatever's going on. You go to here and literally all you've got like over 2,000 eyes just staring at you.
Hmm. You were the
Um,
center of the attention in that
yeah,
moment.
and that's just crazy.
Hmm. It was. And I mean, just speaking about that experience was crazy enough.
Yeah.
Just um, but yeah. So Africa, it was a great trip. Our church is going. Our church is going with the same group, same church that it did last year. They leave in June. So anybody listening who wants to pray for that group can
Or go to.
or go with that. I mean, I think there might be a spot open. I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
Never mind.
um, but but yeah. So and even maybe you don't go to Africa. Maybe maybe your local church or your local homeless shelter needs volunteers. I mean, that's just as good, if not better, than going halfway across the world on a
Yeah.
mission trip. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to these far off lands to uh, share the love of God.
Yeah.
But speaking of far off lands, you've got a pretty intense trip coming up here in the
Oh
next few
yeah.
months.
Yeah, I know.
I'll let you talk about that since it's your trip.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, so pretty much an entire month. July to August 3rd or August 2, 2nd. I'm going to be in Israel, Jerusalem, I think. I don't know. We're gonna be in Israel. I know that. And legally, it cannot be called uh, a mission trip.
Mm,
It's a service project.
service project.
Okay. So I don't really know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have much information on it. I know that we're like uh combining cultures or like bringing cultures together. So we're gonna tell our story of our culture, and they're gonna tell us about their culture. And I I really don't have much information. It's just like get on a plane, and that's I mean, I feel like that's how I am. I mean, I feel like I can't go throughout this podcast without mentioning the fact I didn't bring any money to Dominican.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Hashtag love you, Jeff. No, but that's the second time I've used hashtag, and I never use hashtag.
You're just hashtagging everybody
Just
today.
yeah. Jeff and Melinda.
Jeff and Melinda.
Yes. Thank y'all for the money y'all gave me so I could
Yeah.
have money to spend in Dominican.
Have some food.
Yes. Survive
Survive a little bit.
in a foreign country. Um, but no, I feel like I just kind of carry that. There hasn't been anything said about Israel that I don't know about, I think. But there's also like, I'm gonna bring my clothes, I'm gonna bring money
Mm-hmm. This time.
this time. Hopefully. And bring my 2 bags, one across my chest, one on my back. Tell me where I need to be, and I'll be there.
The fact that you're gonna stuff a month worth of clothes in a duffel bag surprises me.
Yeah, I need to figure out about like laundry and stuff because I don't have a bunch worth of clothes in Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably should figure out if you're gonna be able to do laundry because you might need to check a bag if that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so what is it safe to say that you're pretty excited for that trip?
Oh, I'm pumped. It'll be the longest time I've been out of America. It'll be the second year in a row. I'll be out of the country when it's my birthday.
Hmm.
Um, not. It'll be the second year in a row to where I've been out of the state when it's my birthday,
Or you won't be at home for
or
your
I won't be at
birthday.
home for my birthday. Um, s- so it's weird. It's kind of unique, I'm having my birthday in different places around the world, and
Mm-hmm.
that's really. I mean, I don't feel like a lot of people can say that,
No,
but I'm super excited for it. I don't really know what I'm excited for though, because like I said, I don't really know
don't
what I'm
hold up.
doing.
Don't know a whole lot.
No,
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who have been to Israel, and if I really thought about it, I probably could. But on top of my
yeah,
head, I don't know a whole lot of people who have been to Israel. Both pastors, but
yeah.
wait, has
No,
Josh?
Josh hasn't been. He
Okay,
wants to
just
go.
Jimmy.
It's one of his lifelong things. Yeah. Hopefully I don't get Jerusalem syndrome.
Hmm.
Um,
You want to talk? You want to mention? Explain that just for a minute, because
we'll,
I've forgotten what that means.
we'll let the audience,
Audience,
whoever's figuring it out there,
listen, figure it
let's
out.
look it up, figure it out. Hopefully I don't get that.
Okay.
Get,
Yeah. So let them do a little bit of homework.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're getting pretty close to the end mark, but I do want to ask you, or maybe let you talk about it or anything, but you have a YouTube channel out, right?
I do have a YouTube channel. Yeah, yeah.
What does your YouTube channel consist of?
Oh my goodness. Um, please subscribe. um,
Like, subscribe, turn on
turn
notifications.
on notifications. No, my YouTube channel is kind of just. I want to say it not in a super like um what's the word? Oh my goodness.
Basic way?
No, no,
Uh,
no. Such the P. Crap.
uh,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Are you trying to promote it?
No, 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 no. Okay. My YouTube channel is kind of just really just self-expression. I mean, I'm not like I don't really I only have like 3 videos, 4 videos. So it's
Hmm.
not like I'm a YouTuber. But it's really just what's going on in my brain, how I feel, and it's just expressing that publicly.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of just enjoy it doing that w- because of that reason. So yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't listened to video in like a month though. So
You've been kind of busy.
I have been, yeah, midterms.
School and whatnot, driving
Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah.
Well,
So,
what is your YouTube called? In case anybody on here listening maybe wants to go check it out.
oh yeah, yeah, that'd be super cool if anybody checked it out. It's all lowercase, all one word. Jared Rice 04. So my name and then the year I was born. Um, yeah. I do plan on doing more videos,
Hmm.
but it really is just like, I don't always feel like expressing myself, and it's like finding things to like how I want to express myself. So it's
Hmm.
just like,
Yeah. Now, is it true or is this just fake news that you may or may not be trying to make a video of your entire time in Israel?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I do want to do that.
You
I
do.
really do want to do that. I would genuinely love to do that. So hopefully,
So,
hopefully,
if you watch his videos and you're earning yearning for more, you may or may not get that more with a long video about you in Israel.
yeah. I like I want to do that.
Uh huh.
So I don't want to like strap myself onto. I'm gonna do it. Let's just say I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Okay.
it.
You heard it here. Now, doesn't mean I'll hold you to it, but yeah. So cool. So yeah. Anyways, I'll link. I'll put your YouTube down in my description. So if anybody wants to look at it, they can. But you know, last thing really, is there any type of advice that you would give someone, maybe in any aspect, if someone is a new going to college for the first time, or taking a bigger role at their church, or maybe going on their very first mission trip? Is there any type of advice, general advice, or maybe a specific set of advice you might want to give someone, or that you would give yourself if you could go back in time and tell yourself?
Um, the the advice that I would give to my younger self is it's going to be okay. The advice I give myself now is it's going to be okay. The advice I give to somebody else, somebody who maybe, I don't know, is what, just doing life, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, love God and love your neighbors. Like, genuinely.
Hmm.
Um, you can only, there's like two extremes. There's like one extreme is going to tell you you control everything. Like you can have this control of everything, like dictate everything. And the other extreme is going to be like you control nothing.
Hmm.
Nothing is yours. And I think there's some real humility in that. But it's also like I kind of find myself teeter-totting in the middle towards like you control yourself. Like you control your actions, you control what you do. And granted, you're gonna do things that you don't wish that you did. Um, but like you still control that. So this isn't me like saying like this isn't me saying be the best version of yourself, but I think the best version of yourself is found in Christ, finding your identity in Christ. Um, and it's like, okay, well, what does that look like? I have my identity in Christ. It's like love God and love your neighbors, and through that, I say that because like that's like step one,
Hmm.
and through that you can if you carry that presupposition with you, if you carry that belief with you through everything that you do, it's going to change on who you are. If you carry that, it's like, okay, I love God. So even though I don't understand what this passage is saying, this passage could be even maybe even contradictory to another statement or to another passage I've heard in the Bible. It's like, okay, I'm going to wrestle with that, and through that lens of loving God, and it's like you read something in the Bible, or you interact with somebody and they say something totally ridiculous,
Hmm.
something that goes against every fiber of your being. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to carry that position of loving your neighbor. So I'm going to love my neighbor through this. And I say this to somebody who struggles with that a lot. So it's just like that's really the advice I have.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. You know,
Yeah.
people heed your words, and But yeah, no, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Well, appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And
Let's run it back sometime
oh
soon.
yeah, hey, maybe I'll do a part two for after
Oh,
Israel.
Israel.
We could
Yeah,
just
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about Israel. You can
Sounds cool.
give you an outlet to talk about whatever you saw, whatever you did. So, alrighty.
Alrighty, that sounds great.
All right, thanks. Take care, everyone.